After dying suddenly from overtime work, my soul was reborn as Linda, the vicious female supporting character in an urban novel. The original owner had fair skin, beautiful looks, a tall figure, a huge fortune, and was destined to be rich and noble. She could be called a winner in life. However, Linda is a vicious female supporting character who has spent her entire life adding bricks and tiles to the development of the relationship between the hero and heroine, but ultimately ends up with her family broken up and her loved ones destroyed. But I don't want to make the same mistake again. The story is about to begin. If you like it, remember to like and follow. I woke up in a cold sweat in a room full of luxury bags. Before I had time to adapt to my new body, a beautiful woman with a graceful and plump figure rushed in. "Linda baby, my darling, what's wrong with you? Why is your face covered in sweat?" She put her arm around my thin shoulders, her eyes full of worry and heartache. I shrank subconsciously, but was afraid that she would notice something was wrong, so I managed to squeeze out a few words. "Mom, I'm fine, I want to be alone for a while, can you please go out first?" A trace of shock flashed in the beautiful woman's eyes, as if she couldn't believe that I said this myself. Okay, Mom will go out now, don't make yourself angry." Watching her leave the cloakroom, looking back every 2 steps, I let out a breath and thought to myself, now it's time to have fun. I am not the Linda baby mentioned by the beautiful lady, but an ordinary 996 office worker who accidentally traveled to the world of this brain-dead sadomasochistic romance drama. I have done good deeds all my life, so it is reasonable for me to be reincarnated as the eldest daughter of a wealthy family, even though the original owner was a vicious female supporting role. Speaking of the original owner, I couldn't help but roll my eyes and was quite skeptical about the author's writing skills. In the original book, the original owner fell in love with the male protagonist at first sight at a banquet. Not only did she pester him, she also threatened her parents with her own life to get engaged to him. However, the hero fell in love with the White Lotus heroine and ruthlessly asked the original owner to cancel the engagement. The original owner was incompetent and furious, and launched a series of forced reduction of intelligence behaviors, ruining a good hand of cards. All of this is just to promote the development of the relationship between the male and female protagonists. Eventually, the original owner's father's company went bankrupt and he died of a heart attack. The mother was so shocked that she went crazy and was admitted to a mental hospital. The original owner couldn't bear the humiliation and committed suicide by jumping off a building. Fortunately, the current timeline is before the original owner met the male protagonist, so there is still time to change everything. At the dinner table, I finished the exquisite dishes on the plate, put down my chopsticks, wiped my mouth and said, "Dad, I want to go to work at the company tomorrow, is that okay with you?" The chopsticks fell on the marble floor tiles, making a crisp sound. Tears flashed in Linda's father's eyes, and Linda's mother also widened her eyes and stared at me in disbelief. The original owner was spoiled by his parents since he was a child. He was spoiled and willful, afraid of hardship and fatigue. Relying on his family's wealth, he did not go out to find a job after graduating from university. He just spent the whole day shopping. He was totally inconsistent with the style of a new generation of young people like me who have a good family background and are hardworking and stand hard work. Well, Mom and Dad have raised me for so many years, it's time for me to do something for the family. I know very well that if the original plot continues to develop, it is only a matter of time before Linda's family goes bankrupt. If not now, when? As soon as I finished speaking, a figure rushed towards me from both sides. "My darling, you have grown up and become sensible. Mom is so relieved." Woo woo woo. Mom Linda kissed my cheek while sobbing. "You are worthy of being my daughter, Robert. Dad will call the secretary right away to arrange your position." I can't help but complain. Isn't the author too critical of the vicious female supporting character's family? The name is so random. Linda's father runs 2 companies, one is a newspaper company and the other is also a newspaper company. I wanted to complain, but then I thought that it was because of him that I was able to have a new life today, so I held back. After reading newspapers in the company for a day, I discovered a shocking secret. The setting of this world is exactly the same as my original world, except that the timeline remains 3 years ago in the original world. I glanced at the date on the newspaper, my brain started working fast, and I instantly came up with a brilliant way to verify it. In the original world, I have the habit of investing in lottery every week. Tomorrow happens to be the day of my first investment. The numbers I chose are completely different from the winning numbers. I will never forget the first prize number of that period. So, as soon as I got off work, I refused to go home with Linda's dad and went straight to the sports lottery store closest to the company. Because I was too excited, I accidentally bumped into someone who was buying water at the door of the store. "I'm sorry." The man stood up, turned his head and met my eyes. My heart trembled violently. His eyes were so cold and ruthless that it seemed that even the temperature of the air around them had dropped a few degrees. I quickly looked away, carefully walked around him and went to the cashier. "Boss, buy a set of Super Lotto." The boss lowered his head and played games. Without raising his head, he said, "Random selection?" "No, no, no, double the bet of your choice." I skillfully recited the 7 numbers I knew in my mind, and when I was about to scan the code to pay, a magnetic and low voice came from above my head. "Buying a lottery ticket is just buying an illusion. Use your brain to rationally analyze the costs and benefits, and the dream of getting rich overnight will be shattered with a single touch." TSK. The bad nature of human beings. This man who talked to himself completely irritated me. "Hey, who do you think you're talking to? Buying lottery tickets is just like buying flowers or eating a bowl of sweet soup on the street. It is a small pleasure in life. Is it necessary to make a big deal about it? I am no longer the timid worker in the original world. I should strike back hard when faced with provocation." When I got closer, I realized that this man was very tall. I had to look up to look directly at him. The face is so small, the nose is so straight, and the chin is so sexy. Ahem, wake up, now is not the time to be infatuated. As if he had not expected my reaction, the man was stunned for a moment, then he looked away, glanced at the boss who was typing on the keyboard, and then looked at me. "I was originally talking to myself, but now I should be talking to you. It's like hitting cotton. This person is either pretending or suffering from some kind of emotional disorder." I was furious and said, "Do you dare to make a bet with me? What are you betting on?" He was quite straightforward. "Let's bet on whether I can win the lottery. If I win, you have to promise me to dress up as a clown and hand out balloons at the biggest shopping mall in the city." The man raised his eyebrows slightly and crossed his arms across his chest, seeming to be interested. "What if you lose? I am the chosen one, how could I lose to someone in a book?" I followed his example and raised an eyebrow, saying provocatively, "Then, it's all up to you. It's a deal." The man's thin lips, which were originally stretched into a straight line, showed a subtle arc. It's hard to catch up with a horse. I did not show any weakness either. To prevent the man from running away, I took the initiative to ask for his phone number. "David, the phone number is 150. Reciprocity, Linda, I've called you, please remember to make a note." 3 days later, the lotto was drawn, and I really won the first prize. The prize money doubled, and the after-tax prize was 32 million. My guess was confirmed and I was so happy that I celebrated with Linda's father and mother. Then they asked me how I wanted to spend this unexpected money. I said word by word, buy a house. Because I know that in a year, the country will begin an unprecedented large-scale shantytown renovation and new district planning, and housing prices in every corner will double. My obsession made my eyes light up. Who made me be exploited to death in my original world and not even be able to afford a toilet? I went into the original owner's closet and took inventory of all her luxury bags and various gold and silver jewelry, leaving only a few classic items that were just for show. I quietly contacted a second-hand buyer's store and sold the rest. I was counting the digits of my deposit in the mobile banking app in my study when I received a call from David. "You won, why didn't you call me?" I don't know if it was my illusion, but I actually heard a hint of grievance. "You can't blame me for this. I've already won 30 million, so why would I remember a small bet? Besides, the people in the book are stereotyped. I won 30 million, not 3,000, let alone 300. Isn't it worth being shocked? Are you free next weekend afternoon? Bring your props and we'll see you at the shopping mall." The person on the other end of the phone paused. "Okay, see you next Saturday at 2 p.m. After hanging up the phone, I started to research the real estate market in City A. I was shocked to find that it is indeed an international metropolis, and the country has already started a pilot project in City A. After selecting the area and property of interest, I rushed to the sales office early the next morning. The saleswoman with exquisite makeup and hairstyle who greeted me looked me up and down in what she thought was an inconspicuous manner, and then said in a distant tone, "Ms. Linda, our property has the highest unit price in City A. And the smallest area is 200 square meters. Are you sure you want to continue looking? Humph, you look down on people." I sold all the original owner's luxury clothes and replaced them with comfortable and affordable casual clothes. Does that give this female salesperson a reason to look down on me? I didn't respond and walked straight to the sand table. This set, and that set. In an instant, the female salesperson changed her face like a Sichuan opera performer, immediately putting on an attentive smile with a burning gaze. "Ms. Linda, do you want all of these?" "I'll give it to you right away," I interrupted her and said, "I don't want these sets, I'll buy all the rest." As soon as I finished speaking, the sales office fell silent. They probably had never seen such a lavish purchase of a house. The female salesperson who received me was the first to react. She wanted to carry me home and worship me. She bowed and nodded, and asked about my well-being. "I'll take you to the VIP room and have some black ivory coffee that we just imported from Thailand," I interrupted her again. "You can drink the coffee, but I can't bear to look at your face. I want to vomit." The saleswoman's face changed like a chameleon, from red to white, and from white to blue. At this time, a man in a suit and tie with his hair neatly combed came over and greeted me with a smile. "Hello, Miss Linda. I am the marketing manager of the sales department. I will receive you in person." I nodded in agreement, and then the man turned his head to the saleswoman and said, "You don't have to come to work starting tomorrow." This was the first time I realized my fantasy in the original world. In one word, awesome. From that day on, I became a big hit in the real estate market of City A, and a story began to circulate among the people. If a salesperson receives a beautiful woman wearing a white t-shirt and jeans in the sales office, he must show 200% professionalism, otherwise he will not only miss out on a god of wealth, but he may also lose his job. Of course, this is all later news. Before I had even visited a few properties, the day had come to fulfill my bet with David. The square in front of the shopping mall was crowded with people. David was dressed as a clown and wearing a green wig. He was holding a bunch of hydrogen balloons in his hands. He had an expressionless face and stood there like a piece of wood. The children passing by probably had never seen a clown without smiling, so they would take a detour when they saw him. Half an hour passed and not a single balloon was sent out. I couldn't bear to watch it any longer, so I came out of the coffee shop nearby and walked up to him. "You're a sculptor here?" The sun was a little strong and the makeup on his face had started to come off. The meaning of a clown is to bring happiness to people, and the world doesn't need happiness anymore. "Are you suffering from chunibu?" The corners of my mouth twitched, and I snatched a few balloons from him and walked towards the nearest child. "Sister gives you a balloon, wishing you a happy weekend and healthy growth." The little boy was so happy that he kept saying thank you to me in a sweet voice. See? Communicate and smile, otherwise how do you know that others don't want your kindness? Ignoring the funny paint on his face, I stretched out 2 fingers and poked the corners of his mouth, forcing an arc. "Go, listen to me, finish the assignment as soon as possible and leave as soon as possible, I have something else to do later." I don't know whether David was provoked by me or wanted to end the punishment as soon as possible, but he took the first step forward. Although his speech was still stiff, he finally sent out the first balloon. Once there is a chance, there will be a second chance. Before he knew it, the smile on David's face became much more natural. Finally, all the balloons were distributed and I was ready to part ways with him. "I've been thinking about you a lot lately." David suddenly spoke. "What kind of nonsense is this? Is he going to confess his feelings to me?" "No, men only affect the speed at which I make money. Men are stumbling blocks on the road to success." A heat rose to my head, I frowned slightly, and was about to refuse. "You are not from this world." My eyes widened immediately, and my mind was filled with thunder and lightning. Could it be that he discovered that I was a time traveler? What do you mean?" I couldn't help but stutter when I spoke. He tilted his head and said, "Are you happy because you won the lottery?" Hey, don't breathe so hard when you talk. Of course it's worth being happy about winning the lottery, I stared at him, but being able to live well is already a happy thing. From that day on, this weirdo named David would chat with me from time to time, and before I knew it, I had gotten used to his strange remarks. On the other hand, I was rushing along the road to wealth, but one day an electronic voice suddenly appeared in my head, warning. Warn. Book Transmigrator number 250, you must appear at the banquet tonight and complete the mission. I've been living such a carefree life lately that I almost forgot that I'm a person who traveled through a book, but... Who are you? What is the mission? I am book system number 007, responsible for supervising you to complete the designated plot. Why are you 007 and I am 250? I complained in my heart. Because I am the 7th generation system, you are the 250th person to travel into this book. The 250th? Does that mean there are 249 Lindas ahead of me? Could it be that they all failed in their missions, which is why I am here? You guessed right, the previous 249 book traversers all failed in their missions and were destroyed along with this world. After my repeated questioning, 007 finally told me the reason why I was able to travel into this book and the role I needed to play. It turned out that after I committed suicide, the hero thought that he could live with the heroine forever after dealing with the evil family, but unexpectedly, the heroine could not accept the fact that she could no longer play the piano, and committed suicide due to depression. The hero went completely crazy and vowed to make everyone die with the heroine. He spread deadly viruses from the laboratory all over the world, and the world instantly turned into a living hell, and soon collapsed and was destroyed. Therefore, the Book Traveling Bureau continuously sends out book traveling people to stop the male protagonist from turning evil, so as to repair this broken world. Only by completing the task and gaining points can you return to the original world. I didn't take it seriously, isn't this simple? Can't I just stay out of the relationship between the hero and the heroine? Do you think the previous book travelers haven't thought of this method? If you don't follow the designated plot, the world will still collapse. How can someone who has died once be afraid of this? I crossed my legs, relaxed and contented. If the original owner's memory is correct, the world will collapse at least a year later, right? It's better to delay for one day at a time. 007 seemed to have anticipated my answer and said slowly, if you don't follow the plot, you won't be able to get points. Without points, all the current wealth of Linda's family will disappear. Death can't make me surrender, but having no money can drive me crazy in a minute. I immediately collapsed on the sofa. Why didn't you show up when I first came through? Now tell me, do I think I'm smarter than the 249 people who came before me? 007 was like an old monk in meditation, his voice neither sad nor happy. My job is to supervise. I cannot guarantee the success of the person who travels through the book. Me. Sitting there and waiting to die is not my style, and staring at 007 is not an option either. What's my first plot point? 007, who has said it 249 times, said without hesitation, annoy the hero and let the hero and the girl meet. In the original book, because I fell in love with the hero at first sight at the banquet, I kept looking for opportunities to chat with him and even seduced him, which eventually annoyed the hero and made him leave the banquet hall. And it was at this time that the hero met the heroine playing the piano in the hall. He was attracted by the sound of her piano and fell in love with her at first sight. I inherited my mother Linda's peach blossom eyes, and my eyes flickered. Is my mission to annoy the male protagonist, or to make the male and female protagonists meet? It's artificial intelligence after all. 007 is silent. After a long silence, the electronic voice sounded in my mind again. Let the hero and heroine meet. In a flash, I seemed to have grasped a vague clue. After changing into the only remaining evening gown, I attended the banquet with my parents. While the guests were toasting at the banquet and Linda's father was taking me and Linda's mother to reminisce with our partners, I finally met the male protagonist. Nice to meet you, Andy. Linda. I nodded to the legendary male protagonist. With shoes on, he is barely 1.80 meters tall, with thick eyebrows and big eyes. He is a handsome guy, but unfortunately he is not my type. I observed Andy carefully and found that he was not as calm and nonchalant as described in the books. Instead, He seemed half-hearted about the matchmaking of both parents. If the original owner hadn't been so anxious, it might have been a different story. "It's a bit stuffy in here, shall we go out for a walk?" Andy didn't refuse. I walked very fast in front of him. "Linda, you're wearing high heels, walk slower." Book traveler number 250, what are you doing? You should be pissing off Andy here. Andy and 007's voices sounded at the same time. I rolled my eyes in my heart, pushed open the door of the banquet hall, and went straight to the hall. Standing in front of the heroine's piano, I pretended to be intoxicated by the sound of her piano. Oh, what a heavenly sound. Well, it sounds very nice. Andy also echoed, "Linda, do you like listening to piano music too?" When he said the second half of the sentence, I had already stepped back a meter. If it's nice, just listen to it. I remember I have something else to do, so I'll leave first. After saying that, I walked out of the hotel, while asking 007 in my mind, did I get the points for this plot point? 007. I continued to ask, did you get it? It's obviously artificial intelligence, but I seemed to hear it sigh. I got it, but you didn't follow the script. The rest of the story will be in chaos, and Linda's family will still be left with nothing. I can't stand hearing that. What's the next plot point? 007 said in a flat electronic voice, get engaged to the male protagonist and promote the development of the relationship between the male and female protagonists. Through this period of time with 007, I found that 007 can talk to me in my mind, but cannot gain access to my consciousness. At the same time, the completion of the plot point once again confirmed my guess. As long as the main storyline of the male and female protagonists is completed, it doesn't matter how the supporting characters play. Does that also mean that anyone can get the supporting role script? I went through the original owner's memory again, and a person named Kelly came to mind. Kelly is my fake best friend. Because she covets my tall, rich, and handsome fiancé, she secretly hooks up with the hero. Later, when the hero retaliates against Linda's family, she helps him and can be said to be the hero who destroyed my entire family. Since you love the male lead so much, I will grant your wish. I found Kelly's phone number in my address book and dialed it. Kelly, I met a tall, handsome, high-quality man today. Introduce it to me? Okay, I'll send you his photo right away. Kelly's family conditions are better than mine, and she looks good too. As long as Andy's family still wants a business marriage, with her skills, it will be easy for her to win Andy over. Sitting in the stretched Bentley, I suddenly felt a little depressed. Linda's family could go bankrupt at any time, so wouldn't the future of my money-making career be uncertain? I casually asked 007, is the $30 million I won from the lottery considered Linda's family's wealth? 007, any wealth that is not accumulated in the original book does not count. I suddenly became excited. In other words, as long as it is extra accumulated wealth, the system cannot take it away? Book traveling person number 250, I advise you not to have any bad ideas. If you fail to complete the task, you will never be able to return to the original world, and can only collapse in despair with this world. I curled my lips and said, don't worry, I will definitely complete the storyline. After I got home, I checked the two companies on my computer. A company called Tiaojiao will emerge as a leader in the domestic short video live streaming platform in half a year, but its boss doesn't know where to start now. A company called Gandhi is holding back its energy. 9 months later, their game will be a global hit, and the founder, who is expected to be very successful in the future, is begging for investment from everyone. After checking the information, I had a plan in mind. When Linda's dad and mom came home, I invited them to a family meeting. Dad, Mom, I want to sell a business. Two puzzled and worried eyes were directed at me. My dear, have you encountered any difficulties? Don't carry it all by yourself. This is Linda's mom. Linda, can you elaborate on the reasons? Dad wants to hear your thoughts. This is Linda's dad. For a helpless orphan like me, it is worth it to have such caring love from my father and mother for a short period of time. I let out a long sigh and said slowly, at the banquet today, I chatted with a senior who works in the internet industry. In recent years, new media short videos have developed rapidly, and traditional newspapers are declining. Soon there will be no place for us. Linda's father frowned deeply. What are your plans? I said in one go, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Let's sell one company to invest in emerging industries, and use the remaining one to transform. Linda's father's eyes sparkled. In the car, I was talking to your mother about what to do with the two companies in the future. Now it seems that I, Robert, have a successor. I held his hand and shook it gently. Dad, you have heart disease and high blood pressure. You have worked hard for so many years. It's time for you and Mom to enjoy your own world. Leave the company's matters to me from now on. Hearing this, Linda's father and mother hugged each other and burst into tears. The sale of the company was completed. I suppressed the tears in my eyes and returned to the study. From today on, it will be my turn to protect the Linda family. After selling the company, I quickly took the funds to meet the founder of Gandhi. The founder seemed to be waiting for another investor, but he didn't expect that someone like me would show up halfway. I have sufficient funds and promise to only distribute dividends and not interfere in the company's operations. The founder smiled so hard that his teeth were showing. I signed the contract quickly, and when the founder was seeing me off from the company, I ran into Andy getting out of the elevator. 3 pairs of eyes met. I looked at the founder, then at Andy, and instantly came to my senses. I actually cut off Andy's beard. I recalled my memory and was surprised to find that one of the forces that helped Andy defeat Linda's family was the Liver Emperor. If I hadn't come here first. Thinking of this, the hairs on my body stood up. Andy was also surprised to see me. Linda, why are you here? Could it be that the Liver Emperor also contacted Linda's family? Since the book arranges for the male protagonist to invest in Gandhi, I naturally cannot stop him, so I might as well come straight to the point. I forced a smile and replied, I am optimistic about the future of Gandhi, so I decided to invest. What about you? An inexplicable emotion flashed in his eyes, and he smiled and said, great minds think alike. My family didn't agree at first, but I forced them to agree. Then you guys chat slowly, I'll leave first. Suddenly a hand grabbed my wrist. I turned back subconsciously and Andy quickly let go of my hand. There was visibly embarrassment on his face. I'm sorry, I'm so abrupt. I wanted to ask if you are free later. I responded with a decent smile. There are still many things waiting for me to deal with in the company. Sorry, let's make an appointment next time. I saw Andy again at his and Kelly's engagement party. Kelly holds Andy's arm, looking so happy. On the other hand, Andy couldn't hide the alienation and indifference in his eyes, which was exactly the same as the expression he had at the engagement party in the original owner's memory. At the party at night, the host was nowhere to be seen. Kelly shook the wine glass in her hand, but her eyes were fixed on the huge diamond ring on her ring finger, and a trace of resentment flashed in her eyes. Elena, this bitch, knew that Andy was engaged to me, but she still found an excuse to call him away. Just wait and see how I deal with her. This sentence is too familiar, except that the person saying it now is Kelly. I took a sip of champagne and said nothing, but someone next to me started to add fuel to the fire. Isn't this the behavior of a green tea bitch? She appears pure and noble on the outside, but secretly likes to flirt with men who are already in a relationship. Kelly, you'd better be careful, because this kind of woman is the most difficult to deal with. When I got home, I couldn't wait to ask 007, did you get the plot points for the engagement? 007 seemed to be down. No matter how I called, it didn't respond. I waited a full 24 hours before 007 restarted. Got it. The 7th generation system deserves it, and has learned the unwilling tone of voice of humans. But I was still relieved to get the points. Where have you been? You are replying to me now. 007's answer deserves an Outstanding Employee Award from Chuanshuju. Although you have completed the plot mission, it is seriously inconsistent with the content of the original book. I have reported this system loophole to my superiors. Me, what did your superior say? 007, the plot is completed, the world has not collapsed, and the report has been rejected. I burst out laughing. This superior is really good at slacking off. After completing the important note of engagement, other than the climax of kidnapping the heroine and cutting her tendons, the rest of the plot should not be difficult to complete. But why do the authors of melodramatic romance dramas like to kidnap the heroine? 007, can you tell me all the plot points that need to be completed next? 007 didn't say anything. After a while, all the plot tasks that needed to be completed automatically emerged in my mind. Thank you. 007 still didn't say anything. Is he planning to completely ignore me? After sorting out all the tasks, I picked up my phone and called Kelly. I pretended to be very surprised and said, "Kelly, I seem to run into Andy and Elena shopping together on the street today. Are you and Andy okay?" "Oh. Did I see it wrong? Andy has been with you today? That's good." Kelly said exactly the same thing to the original owner. It can even be said that Kelly was an important driving force behind the original owner's intensified bullying of Elena. "Linda, thank you for lending me your body and your parents. This is my way of thanking you." In the days that followed, the electronic sound of 007 kept ringing in my mind. Plot mission number 13, completed. Story mission number 17, completed. While Kelly was completing the storyline for me, I was not idle either. In an abandoned construction site, I finally found the company boss who was meditating. A big boss is a big boss, and his hobbies are so special. The other party expressed doubts about my intention to cooperate. After all, in this world, traditional newspapers and new media are still in a stage of confrontation and competition where it's either you die or I live. Who made me come from the future and predict his prediction? I listed the resource advantages and development bottlenecks of Linda family newspapers, which I had prepared long ago, and expressed my sincere desire to integrate with new media. Hard work pays off. After several rounds of negotiations, Linda family newspapers became the second largest shareholder of the jumping company. At the same time, the Tiaojia company team also entered the Linda family newspapers to assist the Linda family in its transformation. Linda's father praised me highly for handling the issue. Linda's mother would brag to everyone that she had a capable and beautiful daughter. One day when I came home, Linda's mother, with a beaming face, pulled me aside to chat about gossip. "When we were playing cards this afternoon, I just praised you a few times, and Kelly's mother started complaining." "Oh? What is Kelly's mother complaining about?" "It's her daughter and her fiancé," Linda's mother sighed and continued. "They said Andy was having an affair with another woman outside, and Kelly was so angry that she made a scene at home all day long. Linda baby, it's a good thing you didn't fall for him before. Our family wouldn't dare to have a man like that." Thinking of the fate of Linda's mother in the original book, I put my arm around her shoulders and said affectionately, "No man can be as good as your parents. I will focus on my career and be filial to you. My darling, my mother's heart is sweeter than sugar water." Who knew that Kelly asked me out the next day? Even the heavy foundation couldn't hide the dark circles under her eyes. "Linda, do me a favor." I was shocked, but I maintained the righteousness of a plastic sister on the surface. "What help can I get?" "I will definitely help you in whatever way I can." As expected, it's about Andy and Elena. "You know Andy, please help me talk to him and ask him not to break up with me. I really love him." Fortunately, I wasn't asked to kidnap Elena. Before I could reply, Kelly started crying. It was because that bitch ignored my warning and seduced Andy that I couldn't help but grab her face. Even the villainous female supporting role was written by the author to be beautiful. Seeing her crying bitterly, and it was me who pulled her into the water, I could not help but feel sympathy for her now that I had figured out the bug in the system. "Andy treated you like this, why don't you just break up with him?" Kelly, who had just been crying so pitifully, suddenly had eyes as sharp as two sharpened kitchen knives. It scared me so much that I shivered. She gnashed her teeth and said, "Don't even think about asking me to cancel the engagement unless he's dead." "Well, if you want to turn evil, I won't stop you." "Okay, I'll call Andy now." I pulled up my phone's address book and found the phone number that I had recorded but never dialed. The call was picked up as soon as it was connected. "Linda, I heard that you have been very active in the business world recently. How come you have time to think of me?" "That's not right, why do you sound so happy? Shouldn't Andy be struggling to get Elena's forgiveness?" I heard from Kelly that you guys have had some misunderstandings recently." Kelly Andy interrupted me, his voice became low, "Don't get involved in this matter. It's useless for her to ask you to come. I will not marry her." Kelly leaned close to my ear and eavesdropped, snatched the phone away, and said viciously at the screen, "You want to cancel the engagement after we've slept together? Andy, let me tell you, no way. Isn't the hero a pure and innocent person who kept his virginity for the heroine and didn't even give her his first kiss? What is the situation now? Before I could think about it carefully, I heard the phone fall to the ground with a loud noise. When I turned around, Kelly had already run out of the restaurant with her bag. I just bought a new rotten pear mobile phone. Ignoring Kelly who ran out, I went straight to my phone. The screen was smashed to pieces, but luckily, David called me at this time. No matter how hard I poked the screen, I couldn't get the answer button to work. The last bit of guilt I felt towards Kelly also disappeared when she broke my phone. After changing the phone and reinserting the SIM card, I found that David made 6 more calls in a row. I called back, "David, what's up?" The person on the other side was more anxious than me. "What happened?" "Normally you should answer the call within 13 seconds. What a strange person saying such a strange thing, but at least my low mood due to the damage to my property has improved a little. Yes, you are awesome, my phone is broken. To avoid dropping your phone, you should try to keep your hands dry and avoid operating it with one hand. Phone cases can also effectively reduce the impact force. It would probably be dark by the time David finished speaking. When I first met him, I thought he was a cool guy, but the more I got to know him, the more I realized he was actually a chatterbox. Stop, what do you want from me?" The voice on the other end of the phone disappeared for a few seconds. "There's a Superbug exhibition on Saturday, do you want to go watch it together?" I sighed silently. Last time it was human tissue soaked in formalin, and this time it was super bacteria. How did he know that I was interested in these weird things? No, unless you're dressed as a giant germ. Okay, I agree. You now even make such an outrageous request without hesitation? Linda, you have to keep your promise. Okay. There's really nothing we can do about him. In the blink of an eye, the housing prices in City A skyrocketed. At the same time, the company made great efforts in the new media field, and its number of users increased dramatically, becoming a national-level application almost overnight. Thanks to the support of the Jumping Company, Linda Family Newspapers successfully transformed and its stock price soared. As the second largest shareholder of the Jumping Company and the new head of Linda's family newspaper business, my net worth naturally increased. Many financial magazines lined up to interview me, but I declined them all. My life goal is to make a fortune quietly and become a hidden rich man. But reports about me still appeared in major media. Hiding her fame and achievements, the new head of the Linda family enters the new media industry. Linda, a big gamble, created assets worth tens of billions. Media industry tycoon and investment upstart, Linda's past and present life. Linda's mother was reading a magazine on the sofa, laughing so hard that her body was shaking. My sweetheart is so capable. From now on, Mom will have to hold her head high when she is in front of other ladies. After Linda's father retired to the second line, his complexion has improved a lot and he speaks with more energy. Walk with your head up, be careful not to stretch your neck. Ha 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 ha. I don't know who laughed first, the laughter of our family of 3 floated in the villa. In the study, I secretly took out a magazine hidden in the drawer, and my mouth was grinning from ear to ear. The feeling of being a winner in life is so awesome. The word that I was good at investing spread widely in the industry, and investment banks and companies that heard the news came knocking on the door of Linda's family newspaper business. As the saying goes, if you stand in the right place, even a pig can fly. I knew my own weight very well, so I sold 90% of my properties at a high price and invested the money in major emerging fields in the future. Wandering in the ocean of making money, I naturally had no time to pay attention to the love triangle between Kelly and the male and female protagonists. 007 was like a misfired firecracker, silent. But no news is good news, which is exactly what I want. On the day that Gone D Company went public, at the celebration banquet, 007's electronic voice suddenly rang out. Book traveling person number 250, the signs of the world's collapse are intensifying. You must complete the next plot point yourself. It turned out that Kelly's father discovered Kelly's plan to kidnap Elena the day before. Kelly's father was different from Linda's father. He did not spoil Kelly and sent her abroad overnight. Kelly's failed kidnapping of Elena triggered a butterfly effect. In the original book, It took 50 chapters from the original owner's plan to kidnap Elena to Andy's successful rescue and the complete resolution of the misunderstanding between the male and female protagonists. When Kelly left, all the plot in between disappeared. Tomorrow was supposed to be the day for the hero and heroine to talk to each other and resolve misunderstandings, but at this moment, Andy is still on an inspection tour in the neighboring province, and Elena is performing safely in the symphony orchestra. The relationship between them hasn't even made it through yet. May I ask what my mission is? 007 regained his former arrogance and read aloud, help the male and female protagonists resolve their misunderstandings and establish a romantic relationship. In the cafe, I sat close to Elena for the first time. She is indeed the typical pretty girl in TV dramas, with fair skin, a small face, pure looks, and big, twinkling eyes. Andy got engaged to Kelly because Kelly was persistent and Andy thought you didn't like him. Elena took a sip of coffee gracefully and said, Andy asked you to be a lobbyist? I quickly waved my hands, with a look of deep sorrow on my face, but in fact, I was almost digging a castle out of my toes. Andy is my good friend. I was very worried about him when I saw him losing his appetite and being absent-minded every day. Besides, Kelly has already gone abroad, and their marriage is completely over. Please be magnanimous and forgive Andy. She seemed a little surprised, and then she tightened her mouth that was about to open. Are they really broken up? After more than a year of experience in the business world, I have become a master at lying. Well, Andy loves you so much, but he is too shy to say it in front of you. Elena suddenly became embarrassed. How can I believe it's true if you don't tell me? Sister is waiting here. You're right, actually. I've also made an appointment with Andy, he should be here soon. But don't let him know what I just said to you. I winked at her. Men, you know, have to save face. As soon as I finished speaking, the waiter brought Andy over. I didn't tell Andy that Elena was there too. He paused for a moment, then quickly returned to his calm look. Elena, why are you here too? Elena said nothing, lowered her head and drooped her brows, stirring the ice in the glass with her slender fingers. I stepped forward to smooth things over. I heard that there were some misunderstandings between you two, so I thought, how about we sit down and talk together? In the original book, Andy was willing to destroy the entire world for Elena. I don't need to explain the love here. I quietly sent David a message. Soon my cell phone started ringing. I'm going to go out and take a call, you guys can chat slowly. I stood up and hid behind the green plants. Why did you ask me to call you? David's flat voice came from the microphone. Mission accomplished, I was in a good mood, I like it. Like? What do you like? Why are you panicking? I didn't say I like you. Tease David has become an indispensable pleasure in my life. After chatting with him for a few minutes, I hid for almost 20 minutes before coming out. I guess the hero and heroine must have been in love with each other at this moment. I returned to the box humming a cheerful tune. Why does the atmosphere feel a bit strange? Is it because I, an outsider, am here and disturb their fun? I didn't sit down, but picked up the bag on the seat. The company has something urgent for me to deal with, so I'll leave first. As soon as I walked out of the box, my wrist was grabbed again. Linda, don't get me wrong, let's have a good chat. Misunderstand? What am I misunderstanding? I was completely confused and let Andy pull me aside. Elena and she and I don't have that kind of relationship. I shook his hand off, my heart pounding so hard it hurt my ribs. Brother, I beg you, please don't talk nonsense. Sure enough, it's a crow's mouth. Linda, actually, I have always liked you. I have liked you since we met at the party. It's like a bolt from the blue. Andy, you have to be kidding me? The person you like should be Elena. My facial muscles were so stiff that it was hard to force a smile. Andy shook his head. After we exchanged phone numbers, you never contacted me, and you ignored me when we met. I gave up on myself and agreed to marry the Kelly family, but Kelly was aggressive and bullied Elena everywhere. I just wanted to break up with her because I couldn't stand it anymore, not because I like Elena. You asked me out today, and I came here just to confess my feelings to you, but I didn't expect Elena to be there too. It seems that Andy not only has a fetish for letters, but is also a green tea man. I took a step back, sneering inwardly. I have received your confession, and my answer is I refuse. I turned my head to look at the box, and Elena was standing at the door, her brown eyes looking unclear. Elena is your perfect match. I already have someone I like. That's it. Goodbye. I don't know how I got home. I lay on the sofa in a daze, my mind a mess. 007, I can't complete this plot point. Do you think Andy will get so angry and destroy the world because I rejected him? Woohoo, I am so unwilling to give up the family fortune that I have worked so hard to build. Hello, 007, are you listening? 007, 007. My goodness, could it be that because it knew the world was going to collapse, the book traveling system ran away in advance? After accepting this cruel fact, I suspended the company affairs and treated it as a vacation for myself. I stayed with Linda's father and mother every day and acted as a filial son. During this time, I also went to see another strange exhibition with David. Just one day before the hero of the original book poisoned the planet, 007 came back. What are you doing back here? Do you want to see my miserable death? 007 had no worldly desires, ignored my sarcasm, and calmly gave me the last task. After investigation by the Book Bureau, it was discovered that the real reason for the collapse of this world was not the hero. The deadly virus was developed by the head of the laboratory of the hero's pharmaceutical company. It was he who deceived the hero and spread the virus to the whole world. Because of you, this hidden plot was revealed, so even if you don't get all the points, Chuanchuju is willing to give you a chance to find this person and stop the world from collapsing. What the hell is going on here? Is it too late for me to call the police now? People in this world cannot change the plot. Only you who do not belong to this world can do it. The world will end tomorrow, and you're telling me this now? How would I know where to find someone? 007, I will send you the laboratory clues, and you just need to find the person and persuade him. I was so angry, do you think my mouth is blessed? If you want to persuade someone, then persuade him. Also, can I apply to change the book traveling system? You are always absent from work and I am very dissatisfied with you. 007 was not irritated by me, but affirmed me unprecedentedly. You have surpassed the previous 249 book traversers and made it this far. I believe you can succeed. Me. Can even artificial intelligence make promises now? Before I could continue complaining, clues to the laboratory automatically appeared in my mind. I found the laboratory according to the clues, but the laboratory was heavily guarded and ordinary people could not enter. Just when he was about to break out and find a chance to knock the culprit out with a stick, David walked out of the laboratory. For a moment, we looked at each other, staring at each other. Why are you here? Why are you here? They spoke at the same time and stepped forward at the same time. David was wearing a white coat and goggles, and the way he looked at me was inexplicably cute. I work here. God really helped me. After I came to my senses, I grabbed his sleeve tightly. Can you take me in to see the head of your lab? David didn't look at me straight in the eye. Why are you looking for him? I was so anxious. Time was passing by every second. I didn't have time to waste with him. Don't be jealous, I need his help with something very important. David curled his lips with a hint of teasing in his eyes. Then tell me first, I'll see if I can help you. Seeing that time was running out, I grabbed David's hand and rushed to the laboratory. He grabbed my arm and forced me to stop. The person in charge is being led by you. Where else do you want to find him? I was stunned and looked at him in disbelief. This usually cold and indifferent man in front of me is actually the big devil who can destroy the world? I took a deep breath and said with difficulty, "Are you planning to destroy the world?" David's eyes dodged, he was silent for a while, and finally spoke, "Well, there is such a plan." My heart sank to the bottom, as if it was pressed down by a huge rock and I couldn't breathe. I subconsciously took a step back, but couldn't help but move closer to him and grabbed his sleeve. What now? Are you still sticking with that plan? David raised his head, his eyes softened. However, after meeting you, this plan has been shelved. I suddenly felt that this world seemed quite beautiful. The huge rock in my heart finally fell to the ground, and was replaced by a sense of peace and warmth that I had never experienced before. I hugged David tightly, buried my head in his arms, and said in a choked voice, "Then you can put this plan on hold indefinitely." David's heart was beating fast and hard. He hugged me gently and whispered, "Linda, I want to ask you." His next words were interrupted by 007's voice. Book crossing person number 250, your mission has been successfully completed, and now you will be sent back to your original world. I was stunned. Return to the original world? Is this all going to end? Before I could react, everything went dark and I lost consciousness. When I woke up again, the air was filled with the smell of disinfectant. I tried my best to open my eyes, and saw a young girl in a nurse's cap standing in front of me. She shouted ecstatically, "The patient in bed 7 has woken up, quickly call Dr. Zhang over." I'm in the hospital? Doctors and nurses gathered around me, examining me and asking how I was feeling. I could only answer by nodding or shaking my head. My throat was so dry that I couldn't speak at all. It's a medical miracle that he was able to wake up after being in a coma for a month. If this incident had not been exposed and caused a strong response in society, this girl would not have the money to survive until now. Yes, I heard she is an orphan, so pitiful. There was a lot of noise around me, but I just felt bitter. My thriving career, my parents, the person I love, everything, seems like a dream, a short but beautiful dream. The next day, the nurse on ward rounds was followed by 2 people. I thought it was an illusion, so I wiped away my tears and tried to turn over. The next second, a warm body rushed towards me, and a familiar gentle voice sounded at the same time. "This is my sweetheart, the child of our Linda family who has been lost for 20 years. My body stiffened instantly. Am I still in the book? The man who looked like Linda's father pulled the beautiful woman up, his eyes full of tears. "Linda just woke up, don't press her." Half a month later, I was discharged from the hospital. Linda's mother took me by the arm and described our future life to me. "Linda baby, your father and I now live in a villa in Nanshan, which is a bit far from the city. If you like to be lively, choose a house in the city. Our family may not be the richest in the country, but we are still in the top 10. From now on, I can't let you suffer outside." Listening to Linda's mother's chatter, we soon arrived at the underground parking lot. Standing next to the stretched Bentley was a tall figure that looked very familiar. Linda's mother leaned close to my ear and whispered, "That's your childhood sweetheart, his name is David. I've been waiting for you to come back all these years." I looked at David with mixed feelings. He is still the same him, but I am no longer the same me.